Revenge for cheating on your wife from a distance. You're early today, Jack. What are you going to do? Jack pulled out a worn silver dollar and tossed it in the air. Heads. Gina, sitting behind the bar, grinned. Maker's 46 coming right up. Jack was a good guy. She poured him a generous amount and set it in front of him. Turning to the back counter, she held out 2 bowls. One held pretzels, the other Spanish peanuts. She watched him flip the coin again and marveled again at his idiosyncrasy. Tails. She placed the peanut in front of him and leaned against the bar. "How much longer is this crazy experiment of yours going to go on?" she asked. "Actually, it's probably the last day." Gina didn't know whether to be glad or sorry. When he'd started showing up at the bar a couple weeks ago flipping that coin, she'd wondered if he'd lost his mind. She hadn't immediately realized he was a bright guy, pleasant to be around, easygoing, with a good sense of humor. It was just the underlying aura of sadness that tugged at her. Not that she didn't notice it in her work, but for some reason, this guy affected her. "Will this be the end of your visits?" she asked. He grinned. "That would be silly, wouldn't it? I'm just starting to get to know you." She was surprised by the glint in his eyes and the flirtatious tone. Whatever was bothering him must be getting better. "Good. You have no idea how hard it is to break into the confidence of a good regular," she teased. "What's that clipboard?" He opened his Android tablet and watched some kind of video. She couldn't make out what it was, but he seemed very engrossed. "I have a rodent problem at home. Trying to solve it," he replied. There was that gleam in his eyes again. He was enjoying something. "An exterminator?" she asked. "Don't know yet." He flipped a coin, and she saw him grin, then press something on the screen. "Heads. Today is the day. Do you have time, Gina?" "And a place," she joked. "It's 3:45 now. You're 20 minutes early today." "Great. Any chance Marty will make me that killer burger you keep warning me about?" "You'll get it, pretty boy. Only one a week, you understand. You'll be begging me after the first one, but I won't be responsible for your heart attack." "Then you'd better stop wearing those tight jeans," Jack replied, dodging a crumpled napkin thrown in his direction by the smirking bartender. Jack looked around the bar, observing the small crowd. Only 6 people. He held out his credit card, catching Gina's attention. "I feel like celebrating, beautiful. Drinks are on me, including to you and Marty." That surprised her. He was a loner. Didn't socialize with anyone but her and Marty. She took his card and swiped her finger across it, then reached out and rang the old brass bell, drawing everyone's attention. "Free drinks to all comers, courtesy of my good friend Jack." "Atkins," Jack said. "Courtesy of Jack Atkins," she said. Lauren closed her eyes and turned her head slightly. She breathed through her mouth to keep the acrid odor of sweat off the asshole's body. Even the half-dozen scented candles dotted around the bedroom couldn't neutralize his stench. She was making all the necessary noises, encouraging him, trying to get him to have sex with her. It wasn't horrible. 5 years ago, when they'd been in college, it had been okay. But things had been different then. Now she wished she could be anywhere but there, under him. But that wasn't possible. No, she would endure a little longer. She would pay for his silence with her body if that was what it took. He would be gone in less than 2 months, back overseas, and until then she could live with it. The first time, almost 6 weeks ago, had been the hardest, but she was used to it by now. Doug had had sex with her, looking at the beauty beneath him. "That's right," he growled. "You know you've missed it. No one will ever be able to have sex with you the way I can." "Only you, Dougie," she said, adding a moan for empty effect. Not for the first time, she wondered if she'd made the right choice. He swore this would be the last time, and she would never hear from him again. Of course, that was exactly what the asshole had said almost 5 years ago. "Last chance to change her mind," Jack muttered to himself. "What was that?" asked Gina, laying out a huge bacon cheeseburger in front of him. A pound of ground beef, 8 slices of thick bacon, 4 slices of pepper jack cheese, 2 fried eggs, and a serving of chili. More than 24 ounces of burger decadence housed in a plate-sized bun. "Nothing," Jack said. "It's too much for one person. Want some?" She laughed. "That's right. I'm working really hard to fit into these jeans, and I can't help but notice that you appreciate it. After eating these, I'm going to wear moo-moo." "One bite. I'm sure you can come up with some exercise to work it off." Jack cut the burger in half. He glanced at the streaming video, walked over and pressed the blinking button. He laughed, picked up the burger and took a huge bite, watching the antics on the screen. Gina leaned back in her chair and watched him, wondering where this change had come from. "What was that?" asked Lauren loudly, shoving Doug and trying to sit up. She could have sworn she heard the door slam. Doug continued to have sex with her. "I didn't hear anything." "Lucy, I'm home." "Oh my God, he's here!" squealed Lauren, trying to push the asshole away from her. "So what?" said Doug. "What's he going to do about it?" "Get dressed, you stupid asshole. He's going to kill us. These guys have more guns than the entire Canadian Army." "Surprise, honey," came the drunken voice of her husband from outside the door. His next words were accompanied by the distinctive sound of a shotgun blast. "I have a present for you and your lover." Doug jumped off the bed, tangling his feet in the sheet and falling off the bed onto his face. He grabbed at his pants. A burst of rifle shot rang out right next to them. "Oh no!" screamed Doug. He ran to the window and tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. "Open it, asshole!" hissed Lauren at him. "Hurry up!" Another shotgun blast was heard, followed by a knock on the door. "You have 5 seconds to open the door. If you do, I will only kill one of you." A crazed laugh erupted. "Heads up, baby! I win! Make sure you stand away from your lover." Doug wrapped his pants around his arm and hit the glass with all his might, shattering it. 5-4. "Come on, come on!" yelled Lauren as Doug tried to clean up the jagged shards, and a shrill siren sounded in the house. Just what they needed. 3, 2. "Do it!" yelled Lauren, shoving Doug hard from behind and sending him tumbling through a second-story window. She turned around to see if her husband was coming through the door and stepped through the opening. Gina watched Jack giggling, flipping a coin. "Heads," he said, raising his eyes to her. "More bourbon?" "No." He hesitated in front of the 2 buttons on the screen. It was a pretty drastic choice, but so far leaving things to chance hadn't failed him yet. Not like his usual choices. "You're fired," he grinned. "Ugh!" Lauren saw flames creep up both curtains, covering the window. Maybe the candles had fallen down. "1! Ready or not, I'm coming!" She climbed through the window, cutting her arm and leg. She jumped outside, trying to see the landscape below. She hit the ground hard and felt a sharp pain in her ankle. She was immediately soaked. Damn it. The sprinklers were on. Why had the sprinklers been turned on? She looked for Doug and saw him trying to climb out of the huge rose bushes and whimpering, trying to push the branches away. The damn bush must have been 6 feet tall. She should have trimmed it herself when her demands to deal with the sprawling bush were ignored. Then she should have realized something was wrong. Her husband had been in a bad mood for weeks. She had assumed it was because of work. Now she was sure he'd figured them out. She turned away from the house and almost fainted. The school bus stood on the corner, unloading the kids. Everyone was looking in their direction. She was naked. With a squeal, she turned around and looked for a place to hide. She painfully ran to the garage where both of their cars were parked away from prying eyes. She entered the code on the remote control 3 times before she realized he must have changed it. "Oh no," she moaned. Doug stood beside her, bleeding from 1,000 cuts and scratches, one hand covering his body, the other covering his eyes. There was a lot of blood. "Open up, you stupid cheating asshole," snapped Doug. "The code's been changed, asshole," she replied. She ran up to the gate to the backyard and pulled the handle. It was locked from the inside. The fence was 8 feet high, and it was nearly impossible to climb over. They'd taken care of that when they'd installed the pool to keep outsiders out of the backyard. Lauren looked back at the house and stared at it in shock. It looked like the entire top floor was engulfed in flames. They had gotten out through a window, but he must still be inside. She turned around to the street and saw her neighbors watching. Martha from the house across the street was standing on the sidewalk filming them on her iPhone. Lauren, limping, made her way over to her and snatched the phone out of the hands of her astonished neighbor. Jack was surprised to hear his phone ringing. He picked it up. Jack Atkins. "Baby, I'm so sorry. You have to get out of the house. Get out now, it's on fire. Hide the gun, we won't say anything. You have to leave now." "Calm down, Lauren. What's the problem?" "Listen, Jack, get out of the house. The bedroom is on fire. You've got to get out. Do something with the shotgun. I'll deny everything, but I don't know what the asshole will do, so you have to drop it. Go, go." Jack pressed the camera selector and zoomed in on her nervously limping down the driveway, covering the phone with her hand as she spoke. "I'm not in the house, honey," Jack explained carefully. "Jack, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish, but there's no time for this. I can hear the sirens already. Go out through the Simmons' backyard, but drop the shotgun and don't come in through the front door. Do you hear me?" Jack stared at the coin in his hand. He had no choice in the matter. "All right, honey. I'm leaving the house." He heard her sob. "Thank goodness. Now go. Hurry up. I'm sorry, Jack. I never meant for any of this to happen. I love you." Lauren looked at the culprit of her troubles squatting behind a holly bush next to the garage. Someone threw a jacket over her shoulders, and she turned to see Cindy standing over her 2 doors down. "Cover up, Lauren," the dazed blonde whispered quietly. "Don't let them see you like that." Lauren saw a fire truck pull up, followed by a police cruiser. She felt tears come to her eyes and looked into her neighbor's concerned face. She reached out and slipped her hand into her windbreaker, then slipped her hand into the other sleeve and buttoned the front. Thank goodness it was too big and came to mid-thigh. "Thank you," she whispered. Cindy put her arms around her, pulling her close. "It's going to be okay," she said. Lauren grinned painfully. "I don't think so, Cindy. Not every time. But thanks anyway." They both backed out of the driveway to the sidewalk as the firefighters poured out of the truck, 2 of them blowing the hose, unleashing a powerful jet of water into the bedroom, and several more bursting through the front door to get into the house. Gina leaned on the bar stool and watched the scene on her tablet. Firefighters were swarming around the house, and a naked, blood-covered man was being led away from the camera. "What kind of show are you watching? Is it live news?" Jack grinned. "Reality show." He closed the clipboard and looked at her. He flipped a coin. "Tails." "Harp?" He nodded. By 7:30, a decent crowd had gathered at the bar. Gina was worried about her new favorite regular. He'd been in such a good mood for the first time since he'd started visiting the place. But now he was back to his laid-back self and working on his 5th drink, a harp again. It wasn't like that. He never stayed longer than an hour, sipped 2 shots, and disappeared. She was glad he ate the burger. He'd absorbed some of the booze. The noise level in the bar dropped to 0, and she looked around to see what had happened. A disheveled brunette stood in the open doorway and looked around. The young woman looked in Gina's direction and walked toward her, limping heavily. She looked terrible, barefoot, with dried blood trickling down her legs and bandages on her thigh, shin, and arm. She was wearing a dark blue light jacket, and apparently nothing else. Seriously smeared makeup indicated that she had been crying. The crowd outside the bar parted as she approached. Jack rose from his seat and held out his hand to her. "How long have you been here?" the woman asked. Jack turned to Gina. "What time did I get here?" "Around 3:40, remember?" The woman looked at Gina. "And he's been here the whole time?" Gina nodded. I don't think he ever left this place. I was beginning to doubt he had a bladder the size of Lake Michigan. Jack strode around the bar, grabbed the only empty stool and carried it back, setting it next to the woman's. How rude of me. Gina, this is my ex-wife, Lauren. Lauren, this is the best bartender in town, Gina. Lauren just stared at her husband. How? He shrugged. Does it matter? She shook her head. I guess it doesn't. Can you tell me why? You know why. Besides, that's a question I should be asking you. He expected anger, but saw only sadness. I guess that's fair enough, she said. Would you buy your ex a drink? I think I left my purse somewhere. Beer? She grinned sadly. I think I could use something stronger. Heads, Adios is an asshole. Tails, a zombie? Grinned Jack. Gina spoke up. Can I make a suggestion? Both turned to her in anticipation. How about asshole on the beach? Said Gina. You don't have anything called dumbass who probably deserves what happens to her, do you? Asked Lauren. Gina laughed. That would be Lindsay Lohan, a red-headed cheater with a dash of coke, but you're not a redhead. She'll go with asshole on the beach, Jack said, and I'll take screaming sex with a bartender. Gina smirked. A little foo-foo for the bourbon lover. She turned and started making drinks. Lauren reached over and took the half-full glass of Harp from Jack. She sipped from it. What do you want to know, Jack? Why? Why would you cheat on me? I thought we had everything perfect. Blackmail. She said it calmly, expressionless. How could he blackmail you? And why don't you just tell me about it and let me handle it? Lauren slicked her hair back shyly. I did some really stupid things in college. Really stupid things. I experimented with drugs, for starters. That led to even more stupid things. You? You don't even drink or smoke, Jack said. Not anymore. Not after what happened. Gina leaned toward him. Asshole on the beach, part 1. Suffering asshole. She slid the drink toward Lauren, who took a long sip. What happened? Asked Jack. A very dirty video. Disgraceful. Disgusting. Me, another girl, and a room full of guys. I was completely out of it, and I don't remember the incident, but it was definitely me. I do remember the subsequent hospital stay, though. You could have told me anyway. It was before we were married. I wouldn't hold it against you. She shrugged. Maybe you wouldn't have. What about my job? My family? Your family? Our friends? Our church? You're kidding, right? Not at all. Debbie, the other girl, learned about it firsthand. Screaming sex with the bartender, Gina announced, pushing an orange-colored drink in a hurricane glass toward Jack. Just a hint, Jack. No bartender in her right mind would yell at a man who drinks something that fruity. He chuckled. I'm sorry, Gina. I couldn't help myself. I've always wanted to order one of those. He flipped a coin. Heads. She grinned. It's more like it. Maker's 46, after your companion gets the asshole, part 2. Jack turned to his wife again. You should have told me anyway, Lauren. I don't know what we could have done, but we could have worked it out together. She drained the last of the suffering asshole. It was only once a week for less than 3 months. Then he swore it was over. I was stupid and scared. I didn't want to lose you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You should have told me, Jack insisted. She lowered her head. I know I did. I'm so sorry. You have no idea how sorry I am. I didn't know what to do. It all happened so fast. The first time he insisted I do it right then, or he'd send the DVD to everyone. Put it on the internet and all that. So I did it. I hated every minute of it. But I did it. When I got this far, I decided it was too late. A few months, and it would be over. I'm not very smart, am I? Dying asshole. Why don't you put him out of his misery? Said Gina, taking the empty glass and replacing it with a new drink. I sense a theme here, Lauren said. Jack leaned closer to her. Number that wasn't very smart. We're supposed to be a team, Lauren. I would have supported you no matter what. After the first time, you should have come to me. I know. God, do you really think I don't know, Jack? It's too late now. I'm sure everyone we know will be getting a copy soon. I guess Doug isn't very happy with me. Why did you call me, Lauren? I threatened your life. You and your lover. Please don't, Jack. Don't call him that. There was no love. You have to believe me. Jack nodded. Okay. I threatened you and your blackmailer. Why did you call me? I couldn't let you get hurt. It wasn't your fault in any way. I knew you were hurting. You were drinking, acting moody. You didn't touch me for weeks. I wanted to fall into your arms and explain everything. But all I could think was that a few more weeks and it would be over. I could spend the rest of my life making it up to you. No, I couldn't let you get hurt or in trouble because of my oversight. She sipped her drink, grimacing. Makers 46, Gina said, sliding the bourbon toward Jack. Are you going to drink that stuff? She asked, raising the orange-colored glass in front of him. I think I'll pass, Jack said. Gina smiled. I'd been off work for half an hour when Angela came in. Do you mind if I take it? Please be my guest. Gina leaned forward, sipping her drink and shamelessly eavesdropping on the strange couple in front of her. I guess we don't stand a chance now, do we? Asked Lauren anxiously. You cheated on me with another man in our house, in our bed, for months. You kept it from me, made me an unknowing cuckold. For a whole month you treated me like a total jerk. No, I don't think there's anything left of our marriage. Lauren turned away from him and the tears sprang up on their own. She reached for her glass and drained it, turning it upside down. Hit me, Gina. Gina stood up and began preparing her next salvo on the poor girl. What do we have next, Jack? Will you give me a shred of hope? We've had 3 wonderful years. I love you, and I know you still love me. I have divorce papers. I thought we could discuss them later. I'm not sure you're ready for that now. He sipped his bourbon. I should warn you that you're not going to walk away having gotten much. She nodded absent-mindedly. What's that? 60 கோடியே 40? 70-30? No, 50-50, but there's not much to divide. I was laid off last week, so no income for alimony. No kids for child support. Our bank accounts are almost empty. Deductions for home repairs will drain the last of the money. We have $30,000 on the house, but after repairs and realtor fees, we'll be lucky if we make anything at all. I suppose you've been pretty careful. I take it you've known about this for a long time? You've had plenty of time to prepare to burn me. Lauren sighed. You'll get your car, but you'll still have 2 more years to pay for it. Out of the house, anything you want, but I'm guessing your closet is gone. Gina set the last shot glass in front of Lauren. Dead asshole. Nothing left but to bury. Take your time with this drink. It's very strong. Lauren sipped from the last shot and turned to Jack again. Seriously, how did you do that? You obviously have a very good alibi. Jack opened the table and showed her the videotapes. 6 small images on the sides of the screen, each selectable and viewed almost full screen. 2 from the bedroom, 2 more from the front of the house. 1 from the entrance, 1 from the bedroom hallway. Okay, Lauren said. So you have us on video. How did you end up in 2 places at the same time? The big vent in the hallway? There are 2 massive speakers in it right now. Jack brought up the menu and began playing pre-recorded messages. Lucci, I'm home. Was that it? The recording? We almost killed ourselves over a recording? Lauren tasted half of her glass. That and a few other preparations. Changed the alarm codes and the garage code. Locked the house. Taped up the window. Moved all my stuff out of the master bedroom. Jack leaned over and buttoned one of the buttons on her jacket so as not to expose any more of her body. Lauren turned to face her husband. I should have told you. You were always the smartest person in the room. You'd be sure to think of something, wouldn't you? Jack nodded. Would have figured it out. I swear, I wouldn't have let anyone hurt you. She snorted, not at all feminine. Except you. You didn't seem to have any trouble destroying me. You destroyed me first, Angel. I've never loved anyone the way I love you. You ripped my heart out and tore it to shreds when you said those things to that asshole in our bed. How good he was, and that there was no one better than him. Lauren turned bright red. I'm sorry you heard that. I was just trying to get him to do his thing and leave as quickly as possible. Hit his ego so he'd cut loose and leave me alone. I don't think we ever spent more than 15 minutes in bed. Here's why. That's no excuse, I realize, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I realized it eventually, but for the first few weeks it destroyed me. Completely destroyed me. Gina spoke up. She never belittled you, did she, Jack? Jack shook his head, a little surprised at being interrupted. Number. That's a big part of how I figured it out. That, and the way she behaved in bed. I know my wife well enough to know that she doesn't enjoy it. This just confused me even more. Lauren staggered back in her chair. The alcohol had hit her hard. One more, she said to Gina, waving her empty glass. The suffering asshole is dead and lying in his grave. Gina felt sorry for the woman. Mixed feelings, actually. She'd been intrigued by the idea that Jack might be available, but now she saw him differently. A dangerous man. Someone you wouldn't want to mess with. Cold, calculating, and premeditated. She prepared the last of her drink and watched as Jack pulled his stool next to his wife's, adjusted the bottom of her jacket, which was exposing her thighs, and put his arm around her shoulders. Lauren felt his arm around her waist and leaned against him. I ruined it, didn't I, baby? Ruined it, Lauren. Crushed our marriage like a grape. You made a mockery of our vows. What am I supposed to do now? Where do I go? Jack intended to leave her, destroy her utterly. Now he was having doubts. That phone call, the damn phone call. She'd stood unclothed in the front yard, thinking only of making sure he was okay and covered. Why did she have to go and do this? He pulled out a coin. Call, Angel. She watched the coin flip into the air and thought how much of her future was tied up in this random action. Heads, she said. Jack caught the coin and placed it on his forearm, slowly revealing it. Heads! What does that mean? She asked nervously. I'm going to help you get back on your feet. I'll take care of this asshole, you can count on that. You can stay at my place tonight. Tomorrow we'll move into the house and I'll start the renovations. You'll get a job. You'll need to support yourself. When you say stay with you, I have a hotel room. Separate beds. You don't expect me to sleep with you after you've been with that lover, do you? You weren't going to give me sloppy seconds again, were you? Again? Yeah. I would never do that, Jack. I've always cleaned thoroughly, I swear. Every time, Lauren, every time, he growled. She cried even harder. I'm so sorry. I needed this. I needed your love to erase the horrible feeling of being with him. I didn't want to neglect you, baby. Ever. Jack struggled to control his emotions. You hurt me, Lauren. Hurt me so much. God, I didn't think anything could hurt so much. A drink appeared in front of them. Mai Tai. Phase 4. Not of this world. Time to send the dead asshole to his just retribution. She leaned over and took Jack's hand. It's her drink, but I think you should choose your final destination. What will it be? Hell, heaven, or purgatory? Jack pulled out his coin and looked at it. Why, Jack? Seriously? You're going to flip a coin to save this woman's life? Gina almost exploded. Lauren sat up and looked at the woman she thought was her rival. It's a better chance than I deserve. She turned to her husband. Can I make a phone call? Gina stared at them both. What's that coin for, Jack? Seriously, I have to know. Jack placed the coin on the counter and spun it around the edge. I felt like I was making a lot of bad decisions. Starting with my marriage, I decided to let chance take its course. A flipped coin led me to this place. It made me play out my revenge from a distance instead of walking into this room with a gun. I controlled my every move that brought me this far. I guess that's a crutch. It's easier to accept every decision if it's not my fault. Let the gods decide. Lauren took the last sip. Is that hemlock? Or is it ambrosia? Which can I choose, Jack? I don't want to get your hopes up, Lauren. The marriage is over. I'm considering the path to it and the consequences, Jack explained. So it's hell no matter what, she pouted. Jack flipped a coin, caught it, and slapped it on the back of his hand. What's the choice? Please, pleaded Lauren. Heads, I win. Tails, you lose. He revealed the coin. The classic features of a woman's bust on the Morgan dollar seemed to stare directly at his wife. Heads! But what does it mean? Whimpered Lauren. Jack squeezed her hand. Purgatory for you. No hell for you. Not if I can help it. But let's face it, our little slice of heaven is lost. He turned to Gina. Check? Gina felt as confused as Lauren. She calculated the cost of the last few drinks and handed Jack the bill. He signed it, opened his wallet, and dumped a $10 bill on the table. Thanks for being here for me, Gina. If I'm still welcome, I won't be a stranger. Gina nodded slowly. He was strange. She tucked the Benjamins into her pocket and slipped the signed receipt into the cash drawer. She walked around the bar, watching him get up and help his wife to her feet. Gina grabbed Jack's arm. He turned toward her and was shocked when she wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him hard. Don't you dare torture that woman. I like you, Jack. Despite all this madness, I think you're a good man. Don't prove me wrong. Jack smiled. He pulled his favorite bartender to him and kissed her soundly. I'm not going to hurt her. In a few months, I'll be divorced and free. I hope you won't mind, but I'd be interested to see what could happen between us. Lauren had already headed for the door, but turned around and saw her husband kissing the tall, stunning woman. She felt her heart burst in her chest. She rushed forward and grabbed his hand. Don't! Don't! You're still mine until the court says otherwise. Jack shook his head. No, Angel. You have decided otherwise. In my mind, I'm no longer married to you. Until we divorce, I won't sleep with other women, but you have no rights to me. So that's it? I'm out of your life? Jack pulled her to him and hugged her. Our marriage is over. We'll be divorced in 3 months. I'm going to start over. I'm not going to give up on you, Jack. No way. I'm going to change your mind. I love you and you love me, and that's it. I'm going to get you back, she asserted. Jack grinned and leaned over and gave her a quick kiss. Maybe you are going to get you back. You did it once. Maybe you can do it again, but this time you'll have competition. Lauren stared at him, trying to absorb his words. She cried out and rushed to him, hugging him desperately. I have a chance? Do you? Jack nodded. Purgatory. A time for purification and a chance to find grace. No hell for you, my little angel. You'll get your heaven eventually, just maybe not with me. You're wrong, Jack. We're meant for each other. I screwed up really badly, but no one will ever be able to love you as much as I do. She looked at Gina and gave her an icy smile. Game on! Gina watched as the two of them turned and walked out of the bar, Jack supporting his cranky, drunk wife. She sighed. She knew her chances of winning this competition were slim to none. The clueless little cheater was out of the game, and yet he'd managed to clear the boards with one stupid call. Damn it. She'd have a hard time explaining why she'd done it. She ran for the door and caught them just a few dozen steps from the parking lot. She grabbed Jack, nearly knocking him to the ground, and kissed him again, pressing her whole body against him and claiming her rights. Pulling away, she grinned. Game on. Lauren was about ready to explode when the Amazon turned and put her arms around her. I hope things work out for you. I really hope so. But if it doesn't, I swear I'll take him, keep him with me, and never let him go. You only get one chance, so don't blow it." Gina turned back toward the bar to get her things and return to her lonely apartment. At the bar, she saw that Jack had left his silver dollar on the counter. She picked it up, testing its strength, feeling its weight. She tossed it in the air, caught it, and checked the result. A tail. I wonder what that meant. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.